down. Tavon Austin went up and got it. And Jacksonville is in the end zone.
This is the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey will guide you through the next 2 hours with insight and analysis of your Jacksonville Jaguars. The Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, and by TIAA Bank. Let's get the tailgating started. Here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
Riding a 4-game losing skid, the Jags hit the road to face a division rival near the top of the AFC playoff race. Today in Nashville, Tennessee, the 2-10 Jacksonville Jaguars face the 8-4 Tennessee Titans. Kickoff coming up at 1 o'clock Eastern at Nissan Stadium on the banks of the Cumberland River in downtown Nashville. Welcome in to the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. We're at TIAA Bank Field. And a lot going on the last couple days around the Jags. They're heading up to a division rival, a place they haven't won, by the way, since 2013. And they've only won in this stadium 5 times, all time, since 1999. Well, today, the Jags struggling. The Titans trying to find their sea legs here. They've lost a couple games in a row, but they're still at the top of this division.
Oh, yeah, the Titans are in a very enviable position, JP. They're in first place in the AFC South, even without Derrick Henry, without A.J. Brown. They're getting Julio Jones back this week. They've been without their top playmakers, struggling to score points. Does that sound familiar? But they've got the Jaguars coming in who are struggling even more to score points here. And at 2-10, a lot of dysfunction surrounding this team on the field, off the field, depending on which reports you're putting stock in. But certainly things are not going well for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No doubt about that. 4 in a row they've lost now, and those reports of tension boiling over. That's how the headline read between Urban Meyer, the players, and staff. It's December. They're 2-10. Things just haven't gone well all season long in that regard.
No, they haven't. But, I mean, this report puts more of a finer point on some of the behind-the-scenes dynamics. And, it frankly doesn't reflect well on Urban Meyer and the coaching staff, the interplay between the two, if everything is accurate. I'm not disputing what Tom Pelissero reported for the NFL Network. This is an official arm of the National Football League basically reporting on one of its teams here. So I don't think Pelissero is just making things up. He's got sources on the Jaguar organization or in the Jaguar organization, and it does not paint particularly the head coach in a flattering light.
It's been a struggle for sure. They'll try to right the ship today in Nashville, Tennessee. Game day weather presented by roofclaim.com. Protection made simple here in Jacksonville today at 64 degrees currently. Cloudy, a high of 71 in the forecast at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Currently 36 degrees with a high of 52, and there should be bright sunshine by the opening kickoff and maybe a game time temperature of about 50 degrees. Let's get to the top stories of the week. And start off with the running back situation. That was the topic earlier in the week, at least. James Robinson had an early fumble in last week's game. Urban Meyer Wednesday on his meeting with Robinson and how it changed the approach with all position groups.
And here's one of the toughest guys on our team, one of the best players on the team that hasn't been the same. And it's because he hasn't been able to practice the fundamentals of lock it, clamp it, and all the things. So not a good meeting, a fantastic meeting. And then I made the decision that we're going to do that at all positions. So we started special teams with about a 15-play highlight of some incredible 109-yard kickoff return, 100-yard kickoff return. Great efforts. So I just feel a better feel right now going into the last 5 games. This 5-game season, the approach we're going to have. And let's everybody give your best effort, because your best version of yourself is really good. Our worst version of ourselves is fairly bad.
So this was the story of the week before yesterday's stories came out. The James Robinson sat out for 20 straight plays last week. It was 16 in a row the week before. He had lost a fumble in each game, and there were some different answers of some reasons why. And then finally Wednesday came along, and it was more about the lack of ability to go practice and practice holding on to the football as much as they had earlier in the season. That's what we came to. So we'll see today. I'm curious how much they use James Robinson in today's game.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is the franchise, right? He's not just the future. He's the president of the franchise. I didn't say president. I didn't mean to anyway, but I may as well have. But look, he even admitted, he spoke up and said James Robinson needs to be out there. We need to get him the ball. He's one of our best players. When Trevor speaks, I think you better listen in that regard. And I think we all recognize James Robinson needs the ball. Look, we all get it. Guys fumble. You can discipline those players, but it seems like it's been uneven. Carlos Hyde fumbles. He doesn't miss nearly as much time as James Robinson, which makes no sense because Robinson is a better player and is higher on the depth chart. Laviska Shenault has dropped passes, hasn't seemed to cost him playing time. I'm not trying to single out Laviska. I'm just using examples of where I think Jaguar fans have struggled with the kind of justice being meted out. Is it even? And I think we'll see a big course correction. I expect James Robinson to be easily over 20 touches on the day today.
You mentioned Trevor Lawrence's comments. Let's hear them from the rookie quarterback.
My eyes, obviously I'm the one that's out there, see all the pieces moving. I see the whole picture. Bottom line is James is one of our best players, and he's got to be on the field, and we addressed it, and I feel like we're in a good spot, and the whole team we're good, whatever may have happened. I honestly don't even know everything that went into it. I'm playing the game, and stuff happens on the sideline with coaching decisions. I don't really get into that, but I know, and I voice my opinion, James is one of our best players, and he's got to be in the game, and I think we're all on the same page, so there's no confusion there. So we're gonna move forward, but I know James is a hell of a player, so I want him out there.
As the season's gone on, we've always have been impressed, at least so far, with Trevor Lawrence in that setting, in front of a microphone. He understands, I think, his role and what his status is with the organization. But in tight moments like this, they're 2-10. They've lost some games. There's all this stuff coming. The running back's not out there. That's the moment for a leader to step up and say what's on his mind and maybe set the tone a different way. And I think he's really settled into that role well.
Look, we all know Trevor Lawrence has the raw ability to be a really good quarterback in the National Football League. At least we all believe that. But I think the most impressive he has been this year, JP, has been in front of the microphone. Every time we think, man, this team is falling apart or Trevor Lawrence is not playing well, is the pressure getting to him? He steps up to the microphone, and he sounds like a guy who's been in the league for a decade, and he really has a great maturity about him that I think is going to carry him. He's got tremendous composure. I think he is trying not to overstep his boundaries. He is a rookie quarterback after all, but he has a lot more power than the typical rookie as the number one overall pick and the hope of this franchise, and we're starting to see him exercise that vocally a little bit here, and I'm all for it.
Lawrence also this week talked about wanting to play a little more free down the stretch. Offensive coordinator Darrell Bevel explained the meaning behind it.
Yeah, we've actually talked about that as the offense as a whole. I think what happens sometimes is the guys want to do something so bad that if it makes sense that you can almost over try, and when you do that, you can really kind of paralyze yourself a little bit. And so I just talked to the guys, about playing just free your mind. If you're prepared, if you've done a great job in your preparation, you should allow your preparation to take over. And then if you've done that, then and you're prepared, then when you go out in the field, you're kind of ahead of the game as you're doing whatever your job is that you're doing, and it'll feel like second nature to you, and you won't have to think, oh, am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do that? And that's what we talk about when we're just playing more free.
Trevor Lawrence also this week used the term "let it rip." Well, I'm curious what that looks like today in the offense.
Well, right. Maybe it's just try to take a few more chances on guys that are not wide open. Even by NFL standards, wide open is not very open, but maybe you got to throw a few more 50-50 balls. Look, what you're doing is not generating points. So if you turn it over a couple of times more than you have been, what's the downside? At least you go out trying, right? Maybe throw some of those jump balls to Laquon Treadwell, who's a big-bodied wide receiver. I don't know what exactly. I'm not an offensive coordinator, JP. We've all theorized they need more picks, more rub routes, more bunch formations to try to help these guys, scheme them open. But in the end, Trevor Lawrence has got to trust them and, like he said, let it rip a little bit more because what they're doing right now is not generating much offense at all.
Picks and rubs and bunches. It sounds like Prisco on Monday nights, honestly. That's his go-to.
Oh, look, but it's not just, that's the vernacular, but we all know what it is. When guys cannot win their one-on-one matchups consistently on the outside, you have to help them scheme-wise to draw up plays that will naturally create separation for these players. And then Trevor Lawrence has to get the protection. He has to recognize it, go through his progressions and find the open man, and then he has to fire the football when the opportunity is there.
On the other side, Jaguars defense today facing a Titans offense without Derrick Henry. One of the top running backs, of course, in the National Football League is out. There were reports earlier this weekend or today that he could be back by Week 18, but he's not available in this one. Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard both went over 100 in a losing effort before the bye week 2 weeks ago. Defensive coordinator for the Jags, Joe Cullen, knows they are what they are.
They have a system. They're going to run their system. And it doesn't matter who's back there. Like I said, it doesn't matter. They have really good backs, and not just with Derrick. I mean, he's as good as it gets, but the other backs are really good. They're powerful. They're explosive. They can get downhill. They can run you over. They can make you miss. And they run their system, and they do it well.
And they also fumbled the ball a bit 2 weeks ago as well. 3 different running backs had a fumble lost in that game before the bye week, and that's been a point of emphasis, of course, in Nashville during the bye. And we'll see. As you mentioned, Julio Jones is back in the fold this week, and maybe that can, for at least from the Titans' perspective, give them a little boost. They've lost 2 in a row. The Jags certainly hope not today. There you have it, some of today's top stories. Time now for our weekly segment from Emmanuel Thalleran, known as E.T. We hear directly from you, the Jags fans. This is Come On Somebody, Come On Everybody.
Good morning, Jacksonville. It's your boy, E to the T. Every week, I get up on this here microphone, and I go hard for those Jacksonville Jaguars. I love them boys. So guess what? Call your boy crazy, because I'm going to get right back on this here microphone and go hard for them Jacksonville Jaguars. But especially on this week. You see, my big dog Tony Smith reminded me of something earlier this week on Jaguars Today.
But it is Titans Hate Week.
It's Titans Hate Week.
They are first in the division. We'll see what it looks like with the Jaguars have not won a game in Nashville since the quadfecta when they got the sack, fumble, recovery, touchdown.
Patrick is going to get hit. Sacked. He lost the ball. It's grabbed by Will Blackman. He's going back the other way.
From Blackman a few years ago with Gus Bradley.
So I was thinking, today is the perfect day to end that streak. But in order for us to do that, we have to score more points than them. Sounds easy, right? So this week, I'm giving y'all the keys to the offense. What y'all gonna do to put more points on the board? Come on, somebody.
Give the ball to James Robinson.
I got a feeling that I'm gonna hear that a lot.
Come on, somebody.
And that.
Duval.
And that too.
Hey, good morning. Duval.
Nah, Joe. We gonna have to try to run that back, man. I need more chest than that, bro.
All righty. Duval. But I'm pretty sure we should be able to take whatever I give out because we taking whatever the offense giving out.
You just couldn't help yourself, huh?
So bear with me till I get it right.
Hey, T.
Talk to me.
How about we draw up some pass plays where they're on 3 guys in the route tree. They're within 10 yards of each other.
I bet I'm going to pass that along. Hey, run some better plays.
Thanks, bro.
You know I'm a man of the people. I got you.
E.T. Hoove, baby, here.
Hoove, baby, on the line again. Talk to me, Hoove.
Jaguars, it's Christmas time. Merry Christmas. Please bring us home a nice present.
I wouldn't mind a 150-yard performance from J-Rob and a 250-yard performance and 3 touchdowns from Trevor in my stocking or even under the tree. Santa, do you hear me? Help me!
Hey, what's up, E to the T? It's your boy Kenny for Orange Park.
OP Kenny checking in!
If I'm the Jaguars, I'm putting Trevor in that quarterback option with J-Rob in the shotgun. I'm running crosses in the middle, and I'm running Treadwell up the sideline all game long. Make it rain, baby. Beat the Titans.
Hey, OP Kenny got a whole game plan for real. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, somebody.
I want to see the downfield shots. You don't have anything to lose on this thing.
And the quarterback whisperer has spoken. Hey, air that thing out. We ain't got nothing to lose. Y'all better put some respect on the quarterback whisperer's name. He be doing his thing at 6 points.
My man, E.T.
Hold on. Is that the legend himself?
This is the saber-toothed tiger. Come on, somebody. Come on, everybody.
The one, the only, Mr. Holiday.
I'm going to let you know right now what the Jacksonville saber-toothed tiger Jaguars must do to win this game this week
against them hated Titans.
Oh, I got pen in hand, pen in hand.
We're going to play bully ball for the next 5 games.
Preach, preach.
No more punting. No more punting on the field. We going all out. All Arsenal attack.
Unc said all Arsenal attack.
We got to be like Guns N' Roses. We going down in a blaze of glory. Bang, bang, bang.
Y'all heard what Uncle Holiday said. Bet that up, Unc.
Come on, somebody.
The people have spoken. What we would do to put some points on the board with this offense. But now it's time that I get my teal water and I do my thing. Let's not forget, it's Titans Hate Week. Hopefully, we get this dub. Come on, somebody.
Well, a small oversight there. Bon Jovi did Blaze of Glory, not Guns N' Roses.
I love that song, by the way. It's a great song.
I mean, wow. How about that?
Well, we had Pearl Harbor Day this week. And as we all know, when you get fired up and you start getting on a roll, sometimes you talk about the Germans bombing Pearl Harbor. You just let a guy go at that point, JP. Does it really matter who sings Blaze of Glory when the saber-toothed tiger cats are about to take the field? I don't think it does. I do not think it does.
Excellent point.
I love it.
Well, if you can match those thoughts, you can get them in on the call-in line, 904-207-7071. We'll hear from ET again next week. And we're just getting started on the Publix Tailgate Show ahead of Week 14. Coming up at 10:37.
You got 5 games left, so just make it a 5-game season. This is the first game of the season, and let's go out and compete and play well.
Jaguars assistant head coach Charlie Strong joining Brian Sexton. Up next, though, we'll hear from Spiro Adidas. He has the call of today's game on CBS Sports. The Jags and the Titans coming up in Week 14 in Nashville. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Shopping Publix with delivery and curbside pickup powered by Instacart makes getting your groceries more convenient than ever. It's basically the best thing since sliced bread, which you can order from the Publix bakery. You can also get fresh meats and cheeses from the deli, delicious produce, and Publix premium ice cream, all without having to leave your couch or car. Orders are available in as little as 2 hours. Prices vary from in-store. Fees, tips, and taxes may apply. Subject to terms and availability. Visit Publix.com/shop. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
It's time for sunshine and summer showers, so it's more important than ever to make sure you call Crystal Clean for all your waterproofing needs. Waterproofing can extend the life of your building by keeping water outside where it belongs. And that Florida sun can beat up your business's paint job. Crystal Clean's painting services can bring your building back to life. From waterproofing to painting, schedule Crystal Clean today. Call 904-220-3337 or go to crystalclean.com. You don't have to worry when it's Crystal Clean.
Hiring qualified veterans and helping veterans grow their businesses isn't just the right thing to do, it's also good business. Fiserv Salutes provides the military community with career opportunities, education resources, and business solutions for veteran-owned businesses, including free processing on Independence and Veterans holidays. To find out how Fiserv helps veteran-owned businesses and their career opportunities, visit Fiserv.com and follow them on Twitter and Instagram @Fiserv. An official military partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field and Valley Park it for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. you're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars Game Day is presented by ViStar Credit Union. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from TIAA Bank Field. The Publix Tailgate Show rolls along. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. The Jaguars visit the Tennessee Titans in Week 14. They haven't won there since 2013. That was the Will Blackmon game that he had the sack, the fumble force, the fumble recovery, and the touchdown to put the Jags up after the extra point by 9. They ended up winning that game by 2, 29-27. The Titans scored late. But that was the last time, and that has been a long, long time. The Jags trying to snap that one, trying to get some points on the board today, all the above, a lot of things going on around the organization. We heard from Spiro adidas this week. He has the call again. He had a Jaguars game early in the season. Over the years, he's had a good amount of Jaguars games, but not as many this season as in years past. And it's crossover season. He's got NBA going on, and NFL football also. Spiro has been around it for a long time, so he understands what has happened for this organization over the last decade or so, and it has not been pretty. And he'll have some interesting thoughts on the direction, I think.
Yeah, look, bottom line, it is Titans week, right? And we have not spent a lot of time talking about that this week because of other factors and other considerations. So, does it solve all your problems if you beat Tennessee? No, but it gives you a good feeling, and if you can compartmentalize it and make this a 5-game season, there are some definite winnable games on the schedule, even with the Jaguars on the other side of the field. As much as they're struggling, there's some really struggling teams remaining in their final 5, and Tennessee is one of those in terms of scoring points, so also turning the ball over quite frequently. So we'll see if the Jags can do something about that today.
Let's hear from Spiro adidas of CBS Sports.
It's been a little too long, Spiro. What's up?
It has been long. I got a little separation anxiety, but it's good to hear your voice. The big baritone bass, always comforting, and it's always fun to be covering the Jags, and never a dull moment, JP, with this team. That's for sure.
You got that right. One day I'm going to grow up and be like Spiro, by the way. That's my. Hey, so you're right. It's never a dull moment. It seems like there's something in the headlines almost every week around this team that's really not on the field related. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's not. Here we go again. Noise coming from inside the building with all the reports over the weekend here. They're 2-10. First-year coach has never been in the league. Tension in the staff and the players. When you interacted with him early in the season to maybe when you've interacted with him later, any differences? What's the feeling, now at week 14?
Well, we met with him, I think it was, maybe week 2 or week 3. So obviously very early in the season. And they had just come off that opening day loss to Houston. And like everyone else, we've all watched Urban, obviously, for years and years on the college ranks and early on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And a very intense guy, a guy who does not rebound from a loss like the typical coach. And when we met with him, you could still see it on his face. I mean, he looked distressed. He looked fatigued. And he just looked like a coach who had just gotten through almost like a 10-game losing streak. I mean, he almost looked distraught to that level. And you could tell that there's an adjustment for someone like that, who's just so accustomed to winning, who, my God, I think won 90% of his games collegiately. So this has been obviously a new experience for him. It's been a learning experience. But the thing I look for, JP, because we bounce around the league, we cover so many clubs, and we've seen the Houstons and the Jets and all these teams that are going through rebuilds. For me, it's never about wins in those first rebuild seasons for the clubs. It's about, are the young players showing improvement? What's the locker room vibe like? And I start with that. Are they passing the eye test? Are the younger players getting better? And certainly when you have a quarterback and a young prospect like Trevor Lawrence, is he showing development as the year goes on? And the fact that those boxes are not being checked those would be the areas of concern for me. And obviously some of the off-field stuff with Urban during the course of the season, it's bad optics. It's not good for the health of a locker room. And this is now starting to snowball to a point where you start to wonder, what is the long-term future for this coach and this organization? And do you get to a point where you have to make a drastic decision of making a change after 1 year, which for me is just, it's the biggest indicator of organizational dysfunction. When you hire a head coach and have to fire him after 1 year, that's about as bad as it gets.
Spiro Adidas with us, CBS Sports. Well, Trevor Lawrence is here. That's the good news. The quarterback, number 1 overall pick. The numbers have not gone well as of late for him. And I think he really stepped up this week in his press conference around this James Robinson situation and just said it. I want him on the field. He's one of our best players. We got to have him out there no matter what. That's my opinion. The coaches make the decisions, but that's what he wants, and it's what it is. And he also said he wants to play free the rest of the way and just let it rip a little bit. Okay, that's great. That's all fine. You're starting to see as the year goes along the progression of Trevor as a leader for the franchise, really. And he's really stepped into that franchise quarterback role, it feels like.
Yeah, I loved what he said. I love the fact that he felt confident enough to step up behind the microphone this week and go to bat for a guy in James Robinson, who, as you know as well as I do, was one of the great stories in the league last year. A guy who does everything right, overachiever, a guy who basically came out of obscurity in terms of the big schools from a collegiate level to have just an incredible record-setting season last year. And I think that's a decision, one example of the mistake that Urban Meyer has made, where he kind of miscalculated the locker room and the entire situation. Because it's one thing if a guy, is not playing well and is not the hardest worker, or is not a guy who's respected in the locker room the way James Robinson is. And so for Trevor Lawrence to step up, I feel like that's part of his evolution. It's not just on the field how you're playing when you're a quarterback. It's the leadership. It's are you man enough to get in front of the room and to make those bold declarations when needed? And I thought that was a really good sign. The question now is, can Lawrence start to play better and show some signs on the field? I know, their offensive coordinators come under fire a little bit, lack of creativity in the play calling. But I mean, anyone who's watched this team the last season plus knows that if they're going to have any chance at being competitive, James Robinson has to be on the field. And they've got to give Trevor Lawrence some support with the run game, and that just hasn't been the case.
Spiro Adidas with us, CBS Sports. So, Spiro, the Jags have all this going on down here. The Titans are in first place and all that. Well, and then history is against the Jags this week, too. They haven't won in Nashville since 2013 and have only won in that stadium 5 times all time since 1999 when they opened that place in Nashville. This has just been an awful place historically for the Jaguars to play.
Yeah, unfortunately, they haven't won in many stadiums over the last couple of years.
Excellent point. Thank you.
Yeah, it's tough being a Jacksonville fan, right? I mean, the whole point of going and getting a guy like Urban Meyer, you thought that the negative headlines, the dysfunction, the losing, all of that stuff would slowly go away. But unfortunately, it's almost like the organization has taken a step back this year, because it's one thing, again, if you're losing games, you're 2-10. But you're seeing signs, right? You're seeing the younger guys play a little bit better. I look at a guy like Laviska Shenault, and he's, his numbers are certainly respectable. I think he's got almost 50 catches, but he doesn't look like a guy who's really taken that next step, that leap that you want to see in year 2. So that's the area that would concern me a little bit if I'm a fan. But JP, you know this again as well as I do. The pendulum swings in this league are so insane. So they can win tomorrow and suddenly you reel off 2 or 3 straight wins and everyone's singing your praises. So they still have an opportunity. There's still a chunk of the season left here. And let's see what they can do. I think we could very well say that the way this team finishes the season will determine whether or not that there's some big changes made at the end of the year.
Spiro Adidas of the NFL on CBS has been covering the league for a long, long time. Always a pleasure to visit with him. He has the call of today's game for the Jaguars and the Titans, and plenty ahead on the Publix Tailgate Show coming up at 10:48. 5th season going into the
It's about relationships, but it's not about friendships, and it's not about personal things. You know, everybody has a job to do. The mental games that you would play with yourself as a player will kind of disappear because you understand that at the end of the day, you still have to go perform.
That's Laquon Treadwell. We'll hear from the Jaguars wide receiver coming up in just a little bit. Up next, though, Brian Sexton with Jags assistant head coach Charlie Strong. The Jaguars and the Titans in Week 14 coming up, and this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
The original pizza logs are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and available at the stadium on game day. You'll find those delicious gourmet pizza egg rolls at concession stands, clubs, and suites. For all their products, be sure to check out pizzalogs.com and have them delivered right to your home. That's pizzalogs.com.
Put down the burger, put down the dog. Pick up the original pizza log. There's only one. The original pizza log. Yeah.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
This season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink for football watching. Just look for 20-ounce Pepsi products in the cooler door at your local Gate convenience store and see how you could win an exclusive VIP experience at the Jacksonville Zoo and an opportunity to eat lunch with a Jaguars player. Eat with a big cat. Courtesy of Pepsi and Gate. No purchase necessary. Visit jaguars.com/zoo for official rules and details. Ends 12/31/21.
Committed to the team, committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit ridesmartflorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Move day is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Move Day crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and moving efficiency, it's no wonder why Move Day is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Track your goods online and get updated play-by-plays throughout your move process. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, they're here to help you on moving day. Call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit MoveDayMovers.com.
We continue on the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Jaguars and the Titans coming up today in Week 14, a 1 o'clock Eastern Time kick at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. The Jags have scored fewer than 20 points in 9 games this season. That's the second most in the NFL, behind only the Detroit Lions, trying to figure out a way to get in the end zone. Mike, let's go around the National Football League.
Okay, JP, with the 2-10 Jaguars getting set to face the 8-4 division-leading Tennessee Titans in Nashville. Only one other game today that involves an AFC South team, and that is in Houston, where the 2-10 Texans will host the 4-8 Seahawks. The Texans waived last year's league-leading tackler Zach Cunningham this week. He was claimed by the Titans. He will be inactive today versus the Jaguars. They also announced that rookie quarterback Davis Mills will be the starter going forward for the remainder of the 2021 season. Meanwhile, a report this morning indicated that Seattle quarterback Russell Wilson would be willing to waive his no-trade clause this upcoming offseason for a deal that would send him to either Denver, New Orleans, or the New York Giants. Meanwhile, the AFC South's other club, the 7-6 Indianapolis Colts, have a bye this week. Heading into Week 14, the Colts are a half game behind the Buffalo Bills for the conference's 7th and final playoff spot. Over in the NFC, Dallas and Washington renew their NFC East rivalry today. The Cowboys in the nation's capital to take on the football team. Reports today indicate that Washington head coach Ron Rivera gave a fiery motivational speech to his team in response to Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy proclaiming, quote, "We're going to win the game. I'm confident in that." Many took that as a so-called guarantee from McCarthy, which is taboo language that a head coach typically tries to avoid. Dallas's lead over Washington is 2 games in the division race. The two teams will play each other twice in the next 3 weeks. And finally, 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Demaryius Thomas passed away unexpectedly this weekend at the age of 33. Thomas played 10 seasons in the National Football League, almost all of those with the Denver Broncos, so may he rest in peace.
No doubt about that. Zach Cunningham led the league in tackles last year.
He did.
And now he's on the Titans.
Now he's on the Titans. And, look, he was did not play coach's decision last week. And reports are that, they haven't seen eye to eye this season. There have been some internal issues with him that the latest thing, the straw that might have broken the camel's back was reportedly missing a COVID test, right? So I'm not saying this guy's been an angel, but very talented player, there to be claimed in waivers. The Titans were the ones who were willing to take the chance. If it works out in Nashville, he's under contract for 3 more years. He's only in his mid-20s, so they may have gotten, not an inexpensive player, but, for not having to give up any commodities, a player that they get to test drive for the next 5 weeks, see if he fits their system. And if he does, they can move forward with him under contract for 3 years. If he doesn't, they can cut him by the 5th day of the league year next offseason coming up and owe him nothing going forward.
Zero.
Zero.
How about that?
Zilch not. Now, he does have some injury guarantees were he to get hurt this year. Who knows if he'll even play, right? They could just take a look at him in practice, see if he fits in, see if he fits into the culture of the organization. Seemed to me like a move that the Jags might have been interested in making themselves, but they opted to pass on him.
There's our look around the NFL. Check out the official Jaguars podcast network. It's free on Apple iTunes or Spotify. And time now to hear from assistant head coach Charlie Strong with Brian Sexton.
Time to visit now with Jaguars assistant head coach and linebackers coach Charlie Strong. Coach, as I was driving down the road the other day, I saw a van that was painted with a saying. It said, "Today is a good day to have a good day." And I would think that that applies to the Jaguars in Nashville today. Today is a good day for a team that's due for a good day. Would you agree?
I totally agree with that, Brian. And, we didn't play well last week, and we just got to come together as a team and then all 3 phases from offense to defense and the kicking game and just put it all together. One of the greatest motivator of any human is your pride. And so it's more of just, playing within ourselves. And I look at it as you got 5 games left. So just make it a 5-game season. This is the first game of the season, and let's go out and compete and play well.
Is it difficult to sell that message? I think, with professional football players, you get to this point of the season and you're not in it. Sometimes you hear the grumbling. I mean, that's just a natural course of a locker room. Is it difficult to sell that message, or do you find that this team is all ears?
No, I don't think it's difficult at all, and I think this team is all ears right now because everybody is like, you sit on the edge and you're just waiting, but it's not so much if you're going to make it happen, you have to make it happen. Don't wait for someone else to make it happen.
Coming out of that Indianapolis game, Coach, I was convinced that your run defense was ready to compete at the highest level, but the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been at the same performance level. Have you identified why, and can you fix it today against a team that you know is coming hard with the running game?
Well, you look at this team today, and it's a very physical football team, and it's going to take us staying in our gaps and just being gap sound, getting your feet in the ground and fitting blocks. And we have to tackle well. More than anything is when you make a play at the line of scrimmage and then the guy ends up breaking a tackle, then it gets more yards. And so you look at the yards after they hit. But it's more of us just, being gap sound and playing with great fundamentals and technique.
Can you practice the tackling in the NFL today with the salary cap and the injury situation? Not a lot of people practice it. How do you become a good tackling team coach when you don't get to work on it every day.
Well, every Tuesday we have a tackling circuit, and what we do is you don't ever take them to the ground, but it's more about getting in position and get in position where you teach a guy how to fit up on a block when you go make a tackle. And so when you're running downhill, it's all about angles, and don't give a guy an angle and keep the ball inside and in front. But it's always where you're not really, you can't work on it, but you're coaching it each and every play, and that way guys are hearing it, and they're just hearing what just the different techniques are.
Couple more thoughts with assistant head coach and linebackers coach Charlie Strong. Coach, the offense is struggling, obviously, and you can see that. Does it put more pressure on the defense, or does the defense put more pressure on itself saying, hey, look, we need to help them. We need to get a takeaway. We need a pick six. We need something. How do you balance that desire to go make a play every play with not going too far and getting outside the boundaries of what you do?
Well, my message to the defense has always been go outplay the other team's defense. And if our offense is struggling, then if that defense that they're going up against is getting turnovers, then we have to go get turnovers. Then we have to go play well, and that's how I always measured it. So because then that way, and it may be one phase that is struggling, but if we just take care of our business on our side of the ball, then we can help and everyone can play all together.
Let's end on a really high note, and that is one of your guys was nominated by this team to be its Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award. First of all, what does that award mean to you? Because I know as a coach, you're looking for these men to grow, right? Whether they were high school kids coming to college or college kids coming to the pro. And then tell me your thoughts on Miles, having worked with him now for almost a full season.
Well, you think about what Walter Payton, what he did for this game and how he carried himself and how he was so given. And you look at his career there in Chicago, and it was just amazing. And it's always about giving back. And it's because we've been blessed with so much, and we've been given so much. And sometimes you don't want to be selfish because, I've always looked at it that it's always – you always feel like you get more when you give. And so you look at Miles and what Miles has done and what he's done for this community and how far he has come and how much he has grown as a young man and as a football player. I enjoy every minute working with him because he is a guy that you can sit down and you can talk to him, and then when it's time to go play, he's ready to go play. But, just being able to just to give back and being dedicated to the game and then just dedicated to this community is really special.
A divisional game in the Music City 2 weeks from Christmas. Charlie, I think we can end it like we started it. Today's a good day for this football team to have a good day.
It really is.
Have one, Coach.
All righty. Thank you, Brian.
That's Charlie Strong with Brian Sexton earlier this week. Yeah, a good day would be nice.
They could use a few good days. Good Sundays, at least.
You only got 5 of them remaining to go do that.
Yeah, and to try to rewrite the story of the 2021 season. It is a grim story up to this point, JP. I mean, disappointment might be the number one word to describe how things have played out for the Jags. I don't think most Jag fans felt that they were going to be a double-digit win team or anything necessarily approaching that, but I think they expected some level of improvement throughout the season, and of late, it's hard to point to an area in the team where you see that happening.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll return on the Publix Tailgate Show with Jaguars wide receiver Laquon Treadwell and our Baptist Health visit with a player. And another hour of the Publix Tailgate Show at 11 o'clock. We'll have the top headlines and much more headed into Week 14. The Jags and the Titans coming up. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Shopping Publix with delivery and curbside pickup powered by Instacart makes getting your groceries more convenient than ever. It's basically the best thing since sliced bread, which you can order from the Publix bakery. You can also get fresh meats and cheeses from the deli, delicious produce, and Publix premium ice cream, all without having to leave your couch or car. Orders are available in as little as 2 hours. Prices vary from in-store. Fees, tips, and taxes may apply. Subject to terms and availability. Visit Publix.com/shop. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jaguars fans, whether you're at every game or watching from home, Keep your finger on the pulse with the official Jacksonville Jaguars app, available on Android and iOS devices. You can stream live games, get breaking news, and manage your tickets all in one place. Plus, opt in to receive push notifications for the chance to win exclusive signed merch from your favorite players. There's no better time to download the official Jacksonville Jaguars app.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by FDOT.
We all want to look and feel our best, so why not take the next step with a consultation with Dr. Patrick Basil, board-certified plastic surgeon. Offering a variety of wellness, skincare, and aesthetic treatment options, you can look better, feel more confident, and transform into your best self. They offer the most advanced, innovative treatments in a modern, patient-centered environment. Learn more at transformjax.com. That's transformjax.com or call 904-222-6262. Introducing Ultimate Jags, the free-to-play next-level fantasy football game. Open packs, collect players, build your roster, and pick your weekly lineup. Scratch and claw your way up the leaderboard and compete against Jags fans for fantastic prizes. Download Ultimate Jags now from the App Store and Google Play and get ready to win.
Jaguars Game Day presented by VyStar Credit Union. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. The Jags and the Titans coming up at 1 o'clock today, Eastern Time. It's Week 14. The Jags are at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. Remember last year, Mike, we had towards the end of the season, we were kind of counting how many players were used for the Jaguars. They were approaching the league record, right? They had 81 different players used last year. The league record was 84. Well, San Francisco had 84 last year, tying the 2019 Miami Dolphins. This season, the Tennessee Titans have used 86 players, league record, and there's 5 games to go in the season.
That's crazy. I mean, look, we talked about just their skill players. Derrick Henry was on an MVP pace, and A.J. Brown hasn't played in a few weeks now. Julio Jones has missed a lot of time. And so you've had to have other guys step up. They've gone to the street to sign free agents and put those guys in the running back rotation, and have actually had some success with it. So, it's part of managing sometimes in the National Football League, JP. When injuries hit, you've got to be able to adjust, and they've adjusted well enough to still be in the division lead.
From the Jaguars' perspective, a guy who might fit in that role here, Laquon Treadwell, was signed late in the offseason program, was cut after training camp, signed to the practice squad, and the last couple of weeks he's been one of the leading targets for Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully that increases as we move along. This is the Baptist Health Visit with a Player. Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Laquon Treadwell. 5th season, going into the final 5 games of your 5th campaign. It's getting back in the groove of things this season, and now it feels like the last couple games, things are starting to, at least for you personally, come together. A lot of catches the last 2 weeks. How you feel in the last month or so?
I feel great, outside of the losses, but my performance has been going in a high trajectory. So I just try to, stay on a parallel path and just keep getting better.
How difficult is it when the offense just has some stops and starts, can't get really anything consistently going to try to jumpstart that? And it's a group effort to try to get that going, right?
Yeah, it is. We got to do a better job, just taking care of the ball. That's our biggest thing right now. We got playmakers all over the field, but you can't use them if you don't have the ball. So we got to sustain drives, and we got to put our mind on just being a disciplined football team and allowing the little things to handle the bigger things that we want to achieve. So once we dial in on that and we can clean up that, we'll be fine.
Laquon, I think if I remember right, you came in one of the last OTA practices was like your first day around here on the roster in the offseason. And from that point to now going into Week 14, what kind of growth have you seen out of the rookie quarterback, Trevor Lawrence? You've had a lot of time on task with him.
It's been great. Even before, even after I came in on minicamp, the first day of minicamp, I think fell on like June 13th or 14th or one of those days. And, I didn't know. I knew from like college media and the hype and then the draft buzz. And then once I found out I was coming out and then I put 2 and 2 together, Trevor Lawrence, I'm like, oh, okay, I was super excited. I'm not going to lie. I was super excited at home with my family. And we were just like, oh, we got the number 1 pick. We got Trevor. And then as, I went through camp and I went through mini camp, training camp, and preseason, and then to this point, his growth has been amazing. Like you can see it. I mean, I see it every day, and I don't look at anything outside of what I see every day. It's a lot in the media right now about, what's going on the offense, but from the standpoint of what I see in his growth and his poise and his demeanor, and he's a pro's pro, and it's hard to say that for a rookie, and I know I didn't come in the best pro, so all praise to Trevor, man. He does a good job of just staying poised through the wins and the losses and keeping a good demeanor about him and coming to work and executing. So he's grown a lot. He's more vocal in the huddle. He's doing a lot of things that, you would want out of a young quarterback, and it's a lot that you can build on with him. So I just look forward to what his future holds for him.
You mentioned you weren't the best pro coming in.
Yeah.
Earlier in your career, the numbers may not be where you wanted them to be. You've been a couple different spots. Now you've landed here in Jacksonville. Why weren't you the best pro, and where did you learn and grow from that experience earlier?
Just perspective on things. It's a business, and you have to learn that. And the faster you learn that in college, or the faster you can understand that next step is a business, and it's not about friendships in a sense. It's about relationships, but it's not about friendships, and it's not about personal things. Everybody has a job to do. And once you realize that, a lot of the back and forth things, or the mental games that you would play yourself with yourself as a player will kind of disappear, because you understand that at the end of the day, you still have to go perform. So, and I've realized that, now, and I realized that part of it closely to my last year in Minnesota. But, my time was up there, and then I got to Atlanta, and there was a different situation there. And then coming here, it was still a situation, but now I'm just getting the opportunity to show, the growth that I've had over these past years without playing, what I can actually do and how my mind has changed about the game and the business of the NFL.
Division game coming up on the road against the first-place Tennessee Titans. How's the feel in the locker room these days? Is there excitement looking forward to this division matchup still? Is it, there's 5 weeks to go in the season. Some guys might get caught looking towards, January and moving beyond, but there's still a lot of football left here.
Yeah, it is a lot of football left, and I pride myself on. We pride ourselves. I'm not going to say but we pride ourselves on taking it a week at a time. And this is the next opponent on our matchup, and we get up and we get ready to play for every game and every practice. And the results don't show on Sundays, but if you came out to practice, we bring our best foot forward in the meeting rooms. Like, we're all pushing each other to become the better and figure out a solution to get these wins for the last 5 games. And that's something we want more than anything, is to win. And we're going to do whatever we can on Sunday to get that win.
Personally, for you, what do you want to get accomplished the last 5 weeks of this season beyond winning football games?
I just want to continue to progress, to continue to be a better receiver for this team, for this offense, for Trevor. Help him get some wins under his belt. This is his first year, and that's what I want most. Just for Coach Myers to get wins under his belt, and kind of get things in a positive swings for this organization. That's been my mindset since I even got here, and I haven't really spoke on that, but when I got here, I felt like, with the Jaguars losing 20 games and me not playing the way I wanted to play my whole career, you know, it was like perfect match. Like we either both can go high or, you know, I could just fizzle out. And so I've been like, that's been my mindset, to just keep trying to bring a positive outlook on this team and keep trying to help whatever I can do to help us win ball games.
Laquon Treadwell, former first-round pick by the Vikings in 2016. Career hasn't gone as well, obviously, as a lot of people have hoped, and certainly him personally, but he's got a role on this team now down the stretch.
He's still young. There's still time for him, and he's trying to make the most of his opportunity. A couple of things struck me about that interview, JP. One, he said we need to be more disciplined, right? This team across the board, not just the offense, the silly penalties, the self-inflicted ones have to be cut out. They don't have the margin for error to be able to overcome those. And secondly, he talked about Trevor Lawrence and the growth he's seen from him just from his time being here and how that's been amazing. It kind of dovetailed with an interview that Hayes Carline of 1010XL did this week with James O'Shaughnessy, where O'Shaughnessy basically laughed at anybody who thinks that Trevor is somehow less than we expected him to be. He's like, man, if you see this guy day to day, it's jaw-dropping what the talent is for Trevor Lawrence. So if you're looking for a bright spot to hang your hat on, it's the guys who play with Trevor Lawrence every day in practice, talking about how they've seen some NFL quarterbacks come and go and that they believe the talent will ultimately be realized with him. So.
Time to hear from Rick Ballou. We call it, has Rick lost it?
Well, good morning from Tennessee with the Jaguars. They haven't won in Nashville, since November 10th, 2013, Gus Bradley's rookie season. By the way, they've lost 8 of their last 9, so this has certainly been a difficult putt for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And much like last week, they're going to be taking on a playoff team in the midst of a losing streak. A Sunday ago, it was the Rams. They had dropped 3 in a row. Now it's the Titans, who've lost 2 straight and are coming off their bye week. Jacksonville has struggled on the road. They've allowed 23 or more points in 14 consecutive football games away from Duval, and they haven't won since they closed the black hole in Oakland. You got to go back to December of 2019. On top of that, it's been a week filled with distractions, most notably the James Robinson story. Really, the only good thing that came out of that was rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence provided a tremendous amount of leadership by answering the questions and saying, it's time to get James Robinson on the field. He's one of our best players. For what it's worth, I think Robinson gets it 20-plus times today. I've also said that often, nearly every week. It just hasn't happened. Yesterday, another damaging story appeared, this time from the NFL Network, stating that there are differences right now. Urban Meyer, his assistants, Urban Meyer, his players. Through 12 games, I haven't seen any quit in this team. And no kidding, Ballou. I mean, they're not going to quit. The film doesn't lie. These guys, their contracts are not fully guaranteed. They're always playing for their next one, whether it's here or somewhere else. But my point is, you can find ways to perhaps go through the motions or even mail it in. Haven't seen that as well. It'll be intriguing to see how this football team acts today after this week. And all of a sudden, right here in Tennessee, this football game seems important for a variety of reasons. JP.
All right, Rick Ballou with Has Rick Lost It coming up, the second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG, too. Former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the Kinetico difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
The Dick's Wings and Grill family of restaurants is a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They invite you to stop into one of their area neighborhood grills where you can count on fresh quality wings where you call the flavor. At Dick's Wings and Grill, their menu has a food and flavor for everyone in your group. If you prefer delivery or online ordering, just visit dickswingsandgrill.com. Every Dick's Wings and Grill is locally owned and operated. Dick's Wings and Grill, winging it since 1994.
Hey Jags fans, this is Chris Manhurst of the Jacksonville Jaguars with a reminder that everyone has a right to arrive at their destination safely. In Florida, bicyclists have the same rights and the same responsibilities as drivers. When cycling, always wear a properly secured helmet, ride in the direction of traffic, and obey all traffic laws. When driving, get rid of distractions and focus on the road. Always watch for pedestrians and bicyclists, especially at night, because safety doesn't happen by accident. Visit alerttodayflorida.com for more safety tips.
Get in the holiday spirit by cheering on your Jacksonville Jaguars when they take on their division rival, the Houston Texans, on Sunday, December 19th. The Jags are ready for revenge when the Texans come to town, so don't miss out. Whether you have a super fan in the family or just want a fun outing with friends this holiday season, visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000 to buy. Happy holidays and go Jags!
Are you a Jags and a pet fanatic? Then enter for a chance to win your very own customized jersey and answer game day trivia live on the TIAA Bank Field video boards at an upcoming Jaguars home game and our Pet Fanatic of the Game sweepstakes presented by Pet Paradise. To enter, scan the QR code on the Sky Patio or go to jaguars.com/fanatic. Terms and conditions apply. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Welcome back. Second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show. Jaguars Game Day presented by ViStar Credit Union. 2 hours away from Week 14, the Jaguars at 2-10 visit the 8-4 Tennessee Titans. A lot going on with the Jags on and off the field. Jags haven't had a lot going on offensively lately. They haven't been in the end zone much. They are on a 4-game losing skid. The Jags defense has struggled against the run lately. It's a Titans team looking to get off the deck. They've lost 2 in a row. They've had a lot of their playmakers on offense out recently. Julio Jones is back today. The running back's out. A.J. Brown is out. And they are chasing the number 1 seed in the AFC. They still have a whole lot to play for in Tennessee.
Oh, sure they do, right? And they've shown that they can play a physical style of football, which travels well late in the season. And, JP, you look at the team that's the best defense in the league has been the New England Patriots, and they put 2 100-yard rushing games up in the same game prior to the bye week with Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard both topping that mark. And they get a little bit healthier in the backfield as well this week, so they're going to have more options there, and they've had a week to prepare for this Jaguar team, and they know they've got to win as many games as possible down the stretch because Indianapolis is only 1 game back in the win column. So a lot of factors. Tennessee's going to have their foot fully pressed on the accelerator.
Game day weather is presented by roofclaim.com. Protection made simple here in Jacksonville, currently 64 degrees, a high of 70 today, and cloudy skies. In Nashville today at Nissan Stadium, currently 41 degrees. It should be a beautiful sunsplash day at 1 o'clock kickoff time Eastern. 49 degrees and bright Tennessee sunshine. Let's get to today's top stories and start off, of course, with the running back. That was the early topic of the week before yesterday's articles came out. Head coach Urban Meyer Wednesday on some of the concerns at running back as of late.
We've had 3 fumbles in the last 25 carries, the running backs, 3 fumbles. And so I don't worry, I guess I don't worry so much about that. I always go to the why. And the why is fundamentally we're not doing the same things that we were early in the year. And we have a very distinct way, and it's great, if you want to go watch a Tennessee game, it's as good as I've seen. It's pad level, we always call this clamp it coming over the ball. We don't do that anymore, so that's stopped. I don't worry about that other stuff. I go right to the film. And here's how to become one of the top 5 backs in the league again. Let's get back to that. And the great conversation was, I can't wait to get back to that.
That's Urban Meyer earlier this week, of course. So, what's this going to feel like today at running back? I would expect a healthier dose of J-Rob.
Look, Tennessee's number 6 in run defense in the league, one of only a half dozen that allows less than 100 yards a game. However, the guy who's most successful against them this year is James Robinson, who had his best game with 149 yards, averaged over 8 yards a carry. If James Robinson doesn't get 20-plus touches today, barring any health setback, it's criminal in an NFL sense. In a football standpoint, I mean, his usage this year has been perplexing. Wasn't used very much early in the season. Was rotated too much with Carlos Hyde, and many people, including my own opinion here, seems to have been a scapegoat for poor ball security when you've got all kinds of drop passes, other guys fumbling. They don't seem to get the same kind of treatment as James Robinson. And quite frankly, look, I don't know all the technicalities of what Urban Meyer's talking about in terms of clamping the ball and what exactly that means to him. But if you look at the fumble last week, Aaron Donald has James Robinson in the air, slinging him around like a small child because Aaron Donald is that strong. James Robinson had his arms wrapped around the football, and he is dealing with the G-forces being exerted by the best defensive player in the league. I mean, it was a tremendous play by Aaron Donald. It didn't indicate to me that James Robinson is being sloppy with the football, at least to my eyes, but they're not as trained as Urban Meyer's.
Trevor Lawrence, now with 5 games to go in his rookie season at quarterback. The last few games have not gone well offensively. And for Lawrence, what does he want the final month plus to feel like?
Man, just like I've always said, keep getting better. I really just want to go play free, go be me, make plays. And I think just having a great week of practice, trusting the game plan, and then just when game day comes, letting it rip, that's something that as this season's gone on, obviously there's been, like we said, ups and downs and a lot of stuff going on. And that's the one thing I need to be consistent on is just go out there and play and just be myself. And that's something I want to do a better job of. Don't play in a box. Just go play free. And that's something I really, really want to do, especially finishing out this season, build on something. Like you said, go stack some wins and feel good about the year. Obviously, it didn't go exactly as planned, but still we can finish well and have something to build on for next year.
What does offensive coordinator Darrell Bevel want to see from the group the final 5 weeks?
I want to see really all of us just play to the level that we're capable of playing. I think we've seen glimpses of it. I would just like to see that on a more consistent level. I mean, really, that's what we're striving for at this point. I mean, we want to win games. Without a doubt, and I think if we can get the best version of our offense, the one that we've seen where, we'll go a 15-play drive and then we'll come back out and put another 10-play drive together, if we can play at that consistent level, I think then the results will start to show up.
All right, let's see some offensive production today, Mike.
Can you remind me of those 15-play drives? I can't recall too many of them this year, but look, you got to be able to run the ball, but you also have to be willing to force the ball downfield a little bit, JP. What happened last week was the Rams didn't respect play action. They didn't respect anybody running by them. And every 5-yard route, they were jumping. The defensive backs were jumping those passes. It's surprising they didn't have multiple interceptions in that game. It makes it incredibly tough when every 5-yard reception and completion is just an act of that degree of effort when you've got a defensive player hanging all over you. They've got to be able to find a way to loosen things up in the opposing secondaries.
Finally, to the Jaguars defense, 5 games to go, of course. Jags 2-10 could be a chance to look ahead to the offseason, but cornerback Shaquille Griffin says there will be no quit.
Of course, it's tough. It's tough. You go through a season like this and you got 2 wins, and man, it's tough. Sure, we got an extra game now. We don't want to, we don't want to go out this way. No one wants to do this. No one wants to go through this. But damn it, we was accepted to go through this, man. It happens. It's the world, man. Everything happens for a reason. I believe in that. But however you accept it, however you react to it, you got to move on. You got to do better. You got to find the enjoyment of this. It's so much worse. It could be so much worse. So I don't want to see people to give up. I can't. I don't want to see no one give up. And I refuse to let us go out that way. We won't.
That's Shaq Griffin, Jaguars corner. And you know what? He's right. It can always be worse.
Oh, it can absolutely. Right.
Always.
So I love that attitude. I hope that permeates the locker room, right? I mean, look, these guys are professionals. They get paid a lot of money. They don't want to be embarrassed out there. So let's see if we can lay a foundation. I don't know how much carryover there is from one season to the next, JP. That's been a debate for years and years and years. But if these guys believe that it's important to finish with a little momentum and how that might have an impact on next year's offseason, well, let's see some wins then, man. I'm all for it.
Those are some of today's top stories, and now time to go to Los Angeles, California, and welcome in NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks joining us. Good morning to you, Bucky. What's happening today?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Doing well. Getting ready for a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, a place the Jaguars haven't won in a long, long time. The Jags haven't won in this season in a long, long time either. And then all the reports continue to come out over the weekend of some issues with the coaching staff and the players, with the head coach. It's just a lot going on in the midst of December down the stretch here.
Yeah, a lot going on, and none of it appears to be good. A couple things to address, like with the reports. One, for Coach Meyer to be celebrated as the leader that he was prior to coming to Jacksonville, some of the reports are troubling. The one-on-one situations with the coaches, having them reportedly defend their resumes, that's certainly something that's not becoming of an A-plus leader. And then some of the involvement and disagreements that you have with players, some of that is to be expected when your team is lost. But for a guy who came in and knew what the challenge was of rebuilding the Jaguars and getting this franchise off the ground and doing it with a handful of young players, you would think that there was some patience and some stuff that would be built in to knowing that you have to be a little more positive during these tough times. And so to me, it just appears that the leader of the team doesn't have a full grasp of the magnitude of the challenge that he took on. And so it's on him to change his attitude to make sure that he doesn't kind of take on a loser's mentality that leads to some of the situations that we're hearing or reading about in these reports.
Bucky, this is Titans week, and we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about that fact this week because of all the other issues with the usage of James Robinson, these reports coming out. When you're a player, and I'm not saying you've been in the exact same circumstance, but you've seen these kind of things happen before. How easy is it to compartmentalize, block that out, even if you just say, hey, you know what, we're going to play for the guys in this locker room? What kind of reaction do you expect the Jaguars player to have today based on everything swirling around?
This week, more than any other week, something good needs to happen in the first quarter. The longer that it goes without good stuff happening, the more likely the team is going to be discouraged and eventually let go of the rope. This is a week that, man, some positive things need to happen in the opening quarter. Big kickoff return, fumble return, an interception, something that changes the momentum of the game into the favor of the Jaguars so they can build upon that. Because if it's a situation where Tennessee gets the ball early, drives it down the field, it's a 3-and-out, then they score again, it's going to be hard to get a discouraged team to play hard the remaining part of the game. And so, look, it's tough, and guys will say they're going to rally around it, but early on they need to see some results so they can continue to believe in what is being said.
Bucky Brooks with us, NFL Network analyst. Trevor Lawrence this week said he wanted to play free and let it rip down the stretch. What does that mean?
I think Trevor Lawrence is getting to the point where he just wants to play football, man. He wants to ignore the X's and O's. He wants to play it the way that he's always played it. So for him, the only way to build confidence is to quit thinking so much and just go on autopilot and play. And if that leads to some interceptions and miscues, so be it. But he has to play. I think part of what he wants to do is play so perfect to put his team in a position to win. And I don't think anybody's built to play in a perfect game. And so he just has to let it go. And I think the offensive staff can certainly help him by giving him some easy things. But I heard you guys talk about, like last week in the Rams, just squatting on all the short routes. Somebody has to be able to get past him so they can push the ball down the field to open up some space. Everything now, I mean, it is congested. The Jaguars are playing in a phone booth. Hard to make plays when everything is squeezed and condensed. They got to find a way to deliver some big plays, and those big plays sometimes have to come through the pass game by throwing it over the top of the defense.
Wouldn't hurt if the defense provided some big plays of their own, Bucky, and the Titans have been very turnover prone. They're really underwater in that category, a ton of them lately. The Jags don't force a lot of turnovers, though, so it's kind of like the resistible force and the movable object, going up against each other this week. What do you think? I mean, will it take the Jags being +2 or something in that neighborhood to have a chance today?
Yeah, always. Anytime you have an opportunity to win the turnover battle, it ups the ante when it comes to increasing your odds of winning games. So the number one thing that the Jaguars can do to give themselves a better chance of winning is finishing with a plus in the turnover battle. And so the way that you do it against the Titans, you got to take away the running game. I mean, you got to stuff the box, 8, 9 guys in the box. You have to make this become a Ryan Tannehill game. Ryan Tannehill has to throw for 300-plus yards for them to win. If he does that and they win, you walk across the field, you shake their hand, and say, hey, you guys are able to do it. But you cannot allow the running backs to be able to get off. You got to stop it. Hilliard, Deontay Foreman, Jeremy McNichols, whoever's running the ball for the Titans, you can't let them be factors. Put it on Ryan Tannehill. Make them throw to somebody on the perimeter and see if they can get it done that way. The Titans have shown that they typically can't get it done when they have to operate under a pass-first premise. The Jaguars' game plan has to be to force them into that kind of game.
All right, Bucky. Well done as always. We'll look forward to talking to you in the scoreboard show, and the phone calls after the game should be rather interesting today.
Good, man. I have my resume ready to make sure I can defend why I am a winner.
Thank you, Bucky.
Love it.
Thank you, Bucky. That's NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks. We're back in a moment. Plenty ahead. We'll go to the broadcast booth. Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman are standing by at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. The Jags and the Titans coming up at 1 o'clock. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Alert Today Florida reminds you that pedestrians are the most vulnerable of all road users. Everyone walks, whether you walk to work or school, or you walk for health benefits. Here are some safety tips that everyone should know. It's safest to walk on a sidewalk, but if there isn't one, walk facing traffic, on the shoulder, as far away from traffic as possible. Always cross at an intersection or in a crosswalk, and for your safety, obey the pedestrian signal. To increase your visibility when walking at night, carry a flashlight and wear light-colored or reflective clothing. And drivers, always be on the lookout for pedestrians, especially at night, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about vehicle wraps to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida, results-driven marketing, and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal Promotion. Please drink responsibly. Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. It's Week 14. The Jaguars at 2-10 meet the Tennessee Titans at 8-4. J.P. Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Titans are coming off a bye week. Well, the Titans are 3-0 after their bye week under Mike Vrabel, the head coach, since 2018. The Jaguars, since 2018, are 0-6 versus teams coming off of their bye week. It's time now for First Rounds on Us.
New York Jets, first-round choice, Jeff Lageman.
Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle Southern California, Tony Baselli.
Well, we head to Nashville, Tennessee for the first time today. Nissan Stadium. I think we all hate that place, the way things have gone in history. Guys, good morning. All right, we'll get to Jeff and Tony coming up in just a few moments from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. And, yeah, it's been, 5-17 all-time in Nashville since 1999. As Spiro adidas most eloquently put it, he said they haven't won a lot of places. Well, that makes a lot of sense, too. But this is a division rival. This is, probably the division rival for a lot of people, and they've only done it 5 times in that place.
Clearly, there were no words for how much Tony and Jeff hate the Jags playing in Nashville. I kid. Look, JP, it's the one organization more than any other that Jaguar fans and anyone who supported this team over the course of history, and probably a lot of the Jaguar players of Tony and Jeff's era, really feel has their number, right? I mean, you go back to 99, the Jags were arguably the best team in the National Football League, with the exception of the one team they couldn't beat, the Tennessee Titans, and that's always going to be at the top of the list. And then you had Jeff Fisher talking about, how Jacksonville at the time, Alltel Stadium, was the second home for them, and, it just inspired more of that, and Tennessee has had the better of it by a long stretch ever since. There have been seasons for the Jags where they popped up, but for the most part, Nashville has been a bit of a house of horrors for them over the years.
Absolutely, it has. They're trying to change that trend today. The Titans are rested. They still have a couple offensive players out, but challenge today for the Jaguars. So, on the offensive side of the football, hey, let's try to go back to Nashville, Tennessee. Jeff Lageman, Tony Baselli. Hey, we hear you guys now. Good morning.
Hey, what's up? Good morning. How you doing, JP, Mike?
We're hanging in there, getting ready for some football today in the
rivalry
AFC South.
week.
Titans
it's a rivalry game. It kind of bothered me a little bit this week that Urban Meyer's quote about the rivalry game said, "Somewhat of a rivalry game is my understanding." It's not somewhat of a rivalry. It is a rivalry. It's a division opponent, and it's a division leader, and it is a team that has been a thorn in my side and Tony's side for a long period of time.
I mean, where do you want to start on quotes this week? I mean, I don't know if that makes the top. I don't know if that makes the top 10, Jeff.
It's been one of those weeks.
That's a good point.
Yeah, one of those weeks.
It's been an interesting week, and it started out kind of a little curious, with Monday and then Wednesday, and then all of a sudden we get to Saturday and we think that the focus is going to be on the game, okay, because it's the day before the game, and then the national reports come out at NFL.com, CBSSports.com, and we're just going, what the what? I mean, can we just worry about a game instead of worrying about all this talk?
Well, and here's the thing that's so interesting, Jeff. It came out. It was broke by NFL.com. The
mothership.
Shad Khan owns 1/32 of that. So they usually NFL.com, the NFL Network, does not come out with stuff that accusatory, I guess is the best way to say it, unless there's some a lot of fire where the smoke's coming.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be an incredible amount of research to make sure that there is some accuracy to what is being written. And so I don't think there's anything that you could say that would question some of those reports. And it's disappointing that in the first year of a new regime that we have things like this that are coming out. And that's the most disappointing thing.
But, Jeff, it started in the offseason. This has been a little bit of a trend, and I think this is kind of the pinnacle of where we've come from and what's been going on, and you could sense it kind of building towards this, and you hate it because it should be about football right now. It should be about trying to find a way to
get better.
It should be about getting better. It should be about your first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, and right now it's about everything else, and that's not good.
Yeah, and I got to say this because a lot of times in what is a dark cloud of negativity, sometimes you see a light, or you see some things that are good. And I thought and I don't know about you guys, but I thought the response by Trevor Lawrence this week about the James Robinson benching controversy was totally A+. If I'm a teammate of Trevor Lawrence, that's my guy. I love him, and I'm going to bat for him at any day of the week because he had my back. He had our back. He had our team's back. And that's just so uncommon to see that, Tony, with a young quarterback. Most young quarterbacks, they can't do that. They don't have that ability, and I think it shows something special. Now, look, I understand that Trevor Lawrence has to get better and he's got to perform better and all that kind of stuff. But the simple fact that he did what he did this week, I think, is a great example of the quality of the guy and the leader that he is.
I agree with you, Jeff, but is that really the position you want to put your first overall pick in?
No, he shouldn't be in that position at all.
That's the bigger issue I have. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Trevor Lawrence did that. Everything we've seen about how he's handled everything, yes, he needs to play better on the field. And I still am a big believer in Trevor Lawrence. I still think he is the answer to this organization's search for a franchise quarterback. Not a doubt in my mind still. I don't like that he was put in that position as a rookie. No. I don't think that's his job, to come out there and play referee between the head coach and a teammate.
Yeah, I just don't like it. It's a bad week, JP, Mike. I mean, it should not be happening here in December. We should be talking about the ascension of this team and building towards next year, but we're not.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have played in the league for a long time. You've been observers of the league for a long time. When you've got these kind of situations that pop up, this off-the-field stuff, and that trickles in to the on-the-field stuff, how do the players react to this? Today, what do you specifically think the Jaguars players' reaction will be with their play?
Yeah, I think that's going to be really curious to see what happens. And Tony and I both know that if you've got a really strong locker room with a lot of leaders, you get through something like this. But I really don't know how much strong leadership that you have in the locker room with a roster that is being rebuilt and transformed. And you'd like to say, well, you're going to be great. You know, you're going to be fine. But I don't know how it's going to turn out. I hope it turns out well, because sometimes when you have controversy, it can galvanize a football team, and the old circle the wagons kind of thing can come about. But I don't know if that's going to happen with this football team.
Well, and a lot of times in this league, the team that has to win, that has everything on the line, a lot of times finds a way to win. And you have a Tennessee Titans team coming off a bye after losing 2 straight. They were the number 1 seed, 3 weeks ago in the AFC, and now they've lost a couple in a row, and some bad losses, and went into the bye, and they're getting a little bit healthier, and they're going to be focused. And on the other side, we just talked about all the distractions, and it can rally a team, but if you don't get a fast start today, I think it can go sideways really quick.
It could. It could very much go sideways, and the Tennessee Titans have been dominant, for lack of a better term, against the Jaguars here in Nashville. And Mike Vrabel is coming off of a bye. Mike Vrabel is 3-0 in his career as head coach, coming off of a bye. And he's got a football team that's vastly different than the team that faced the Jaguars all the way back on October 10th. Here's a number that Mike Keith, I give him credit, who is the play-by-play guy of the Tennessee Titans, gave me this number, and that the Tennessee Titans today will have only 20 guys of the 48 active that played in the game on October 10th. That's an amazing stat.
That's unreal.
So the Tennessee Titans have had a lot of injuries and have not been very good in the last 2 games. So can they be good here today? They only scored 13 points in the last 2 games. But like Tony said, when good teams need to win, and they're at top of the division right now, they usually win.
Well, Jeff, they rushed for 270 yards against the Patriots, so that is a really good defense. If they don't turn it over 4 times, 3 fumbles, that's a different game.
And then they turned the ball over, I think, 4 times to 4 interceptions the quarterback had against the Texans.
Yeah, so it's been turnovers that's been killing them. So, what you fear is they get that cleaned up with that rushing attack, and we've seen this Jaguar defense struggle in back-to-back weeks against Atlanta Falcons and the Los Angeles Rams in stopping the run. And here come the Titans, and they want to go downhill. And, yes, they have no Derrick Henry, but they rushed for 270 without Derrick Henry.
Which is pretty good,
Yeah.
by the way. By the way, I love Hilliard. And Tony, I don't know about you, and JP and Mike, I don't know how much you guys
He
have
has some
seen
juice.
him.
He has some juice
He's
in those
got
legs.
some juice now. He's not a big guy, certainly a far cry from Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry is just an absolute beast, 6'4", 250 pounds or whatever he is, and Hilliard is a short stature guy. But he is north and south, and he doesn't waste any time, and he's not a big guy, but he plays big.
Well, Deontay Foreman is the big back, and he ran well against the Patriots as well. And so they got, a little bit of a two-headed monster. And we know Tannehill can use his legs as well. And so, I know everyone is probably happy that there's no Henry because he's killed the Jaguars up here in Nashville. But they're still going to do the same thing with Mike Vrabel as their head coach. They're going to play good defense, and they're going to be physical, and they're going to run the ball.
JP and Mike, the one thing that will not change in this rivalry right now, at least anytime soon, is that this is about physicality. This matchup, it always is. And the Jaguars' defense has not been very physical lately. In the last 4 games, they have allowed 575 yards rushing on 125 carries. That has to change in today's game if they're going to have a chance against this Titans football team.
There you have it. The run defense, that's the UF Health Finding Solutions. Visit ufhealthjacks.org/game plan. So, tough one today on the road. A Jaguars team that's struggling, obviously, on multiple sides of the ball. Is this the day the offense can kind of get going somehow with everything that's going on? Do they just put it all behind them and move the ball and get in the end zone some?
I don't think so. I mean, there's nothing.
Where's the sign that they are?
Yeah, there's nothing that tells me they are. I mean, your number one receiver walked out of the building this week and had to be begged to come back.
Wow.
I don't know how much everyone's on the same page right now. And
your best player was benched last week.
And James Robinson, what are they going to do with him? And what's his health status? Jeff and I talked about it. It wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden they say, okay, we'll show you everybody. We're going to give the J-Rob the ball 30 times. Well, the Tennessee Titans are going to stack the box. They are going to dare Trevor Lawrence to beat them with the receiving cores that he has and the passing game they have. So, JP, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we score 30. We have yet to get over 23.
Yeah.
We're averaging 10.7 since the bye. 2 touchdowns is like a big deal.
One thing I would add to that is that when you struggle as an offense, then you typically get back to what you are and what your whole philosophy is.
And what is that, Jeff?
They didn't establish it. They talked
right.
about it at the beginning of the year, but then they came out of the gate and were allowing Trevor Lawrence to throw the ball 40 or 50 times a game. And that's not what you needed to be. You needed to establish what you talked about, which is running the football behind this offensive line that you brought back for the very reason, and that you knew you had a young quarterback. You knew you needed to run the football, and your best player was James Robinson, and they didn't establish that. So you can't fall back on that because you never really established that.
So that's UF Health Finding Solutions. Visit ufhealthjacks.org/game plan, and I don't think we found a darn thing. So we got that going for us.
Well, JP, the reality is that if you come out and you do run the ball well, which is, James Robinson is good. And is he healthy? No, but he's still pretty good. And if you end up playing smash mouth and are able to do well against the Titans defense, and then Trevor takes a step forward, which is so important, then you got a chance. But the thing that is concerning is that you haven't seen the progression of the offense or the things established that you would like to see established. And that's why we're sitting here going, is it likely? Well, it hasn't happened in the last 6 games where they've only scored 64 points. I mean, I'm a realist, and you got to be a realist in this situation.
There you have it. Let's come back in just a moment. We will take a look at the inactives for today's game. Fantasy picks coming up. The Jags and the Titans coming up in Week 14. It's a 1 o'clock Eastern Time kickoff from Nissan Stadium in Nashville. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit 5starcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Hiring qualified veterans and helping veterans grow their businesses isn't just the right thing to do, it's also good business. Fiserv Salute provides the military community with career opportunities, education resources, and business solutions for veteran-owned businesses, including free processing on Independence and Veterans holidays. To find out how Fiserv helps veteran-owned businesses and their career opportunities, visit Fiserv.com and follow them on Twitter and Instagram @Fiserv, an official military partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Introducing Ultimate Jags, the free-to-play next-level fantasy football game. Open packs, collect players, build your roster, and pick your weekly lineup. Scratch and claw your way up the leaderboard and compete against Jags fans for fantastic prizes. Download Ultimate Jags now from the App Store and Google Play and get ready to win.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. SMART. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit ridesmartflorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
So we had a problem with our office IT systems a few months back. And of course, I don't want the boss getting upset about it, since she still hasn't forgiven me for last month's wardrobe malfunction. So I did the smart thing and called Sassine's Office Systems. They've provided top-notch IT solutions and services since 1981, including Canon copiers, printers, and mailing solutions. They even handle wide-format printers and electronic document storage, which is important since my boss still hasn't forgiven me for the birthday cake incident. Best of all, Sassine's Office Systems has flexible support programs, certified field techs, and fast, friendly service for one flat monthly fee. And saving money is always a good thing, especially since my boss still hasn't forgiven me for my parachute pants presentation. I was actually wearing parachute pants.
Trust Sassine's Office Systems to handle your IT equipment and office systems, including Canon-connected copiers and printers. Learn more at Sassines.com. That's SISSINES.com.
JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Publix Tailgate show continues. It's Week 14. The Jaguars at 2-10 face the 8-4 Titans at the 1 o'clock Eastern Time kick at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's take a look at the inactives for today's game. Jaguars have 5 players down. Cornerback Trey Herndon will not play. Brandon Linder was ruled out Friday with the back issue. He's inactive. Jacob Hollister, tight end. Jordan Smith has not played yet this season, the rookie. Defensive end and outside linebacker. And then defensive tackle Jay Tufele is out today. That means Devon Hamilton, who was a healthy scratch last week, is up today.
All right, for the Titans, JP, we know Julio Jones makes his return, came back, and he will start for Tennessee. But those who will not be playing include Des Fitzpatrick, another wide receiver, Jack Rabbit Jenkins, their cornerback, fullback Kari Blasingame, David Long, a linebacker, Dylan Radins, an offensive lineman, Tier Tart, the defensive tackle, and newly acquired linebacker Zach Cunningham, the 7 officially ruled out today for Tennessee.
I'm going to need you to start calling me Cheetah. That'd be great.
That's what he wants to go by. We had noticed that Janoris Jenkins is being listed officially on the depth charts, on press releases, on injury reports as Jack Rabbit. And so we checked to see, did he legally change his name? No, he just made an announcement in August that he no longer wants to go by Janoris because he doesn't like the name.
Yeah.
And he wants to be known by Jack Rabbit, which has been his nickname for a long time.
Yeah, there you have it.
Fine with me. I don't care.
Cheetah's already taken, by the way.
Well,
Tyreek Hill.
Or Matt Breida, also called the Cheetah. That's his nickname as well. Pretty fast. So you could be the third Cheetah.
Thanks. You know that. I would live up
You're
to
quick.
that nickname for sure.
Foot.
I am fast. First step. Let's get to the we just did the inactives.
We did.
Let's get to fantasy picks. Let's do them again. Why not?
All right.
Hey,
inactive
you know
for
what?
Tennessee today.
I'm trying to go wire to wire here.
You are.
Let's get serious.
JP.
What's
JP.
that?
What's
That's
that,
been
Logs?
the big thing.
JP, before we get started,
Yes.
what makes you think that the name Cheetah would apply to you.
What makes you think it wouldn't?
Frank,
I'm going to stay out of this.
Are you thinking that JP
Frank,
and
stay out
Cheetah
of
go
it,
hand
Frank.
in hand?
The first step guy. I think Cheetah Shadrick sticks. I like it. I think we stay with it.
Yeah, I like that.
There's some other animals that I would pick for you, JP, and they're a far cry from a cheetah.
Good
I'm going
point.
to keep my mouth shut because I almost said something that got me in a lot of trouble.
Thank you.
All right. If I were Tony, I'd be quiet today as well, based on last week's performance.
Yes.
An all-timer out of Baselli. We'll get to that in a moment. JP,
Well, Mac Jones throwing the ball 3 times did not help me.
you picked him. All right, the forecast was out there.
forgot you did have him,
JP
dude.
had
That's
58
tremendous.
points last week, and he is now Hank Aaron with 755.
All right.
Leading the way on the season. JP had 49 last week, now with 755. Jeff had 55 last week, which was second best, and he is at 699. I took down the week with 77, thanks to Deontay Johnson and Javonte Williams primarily combining for 59, which would have beat all your sorry squads. So I'm at 694, 5 behind Jeff. Frank had a solid 42 to give him 587 on the week. And Tony, after drafting Deebo Samuel, who had already been ruled out, selected Elijah Mitchell, who got him 16, which is a good thing because Mac Jones got you 0, Tony. He didn't hit the
16-point week.
16-point week, the all-time low that we've ever had in this. So,
Congrats.
Tony now at 558 with 16 points, trailing Frank by 29 for 4th place. Tony, Frank, JP, Jeff, and myself is the order. We draft a quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. And the trick is you can only use each player once all year. Anyone selected can only be on that individual's team for that week. So, Tony, you can lead us off this week.
Javonte Williams.
All right, Javonte Williams, bounce back week for Baselli. All right, there we go. Frank.
Antonio Gibson. Please.
Antonio Gibson going running back heavy early. JP.
Give me Leonard Fournette.
All right, Leonard Fournette would have been one of my top picks there had it been left to me. Jeff.
I will take Josh Jacobs.
Okay, I guess I will take my running back last because everyone's got one at this point in time. All right, I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football against the Bears, and I will go with Chris Godwin at wide receiver today.
You got me twice.
For the Buccaneers. Jeff, need a quarterback or a pass catcher?
I will take Kyler Murray.
Okay, Kyler. JP?
I hate it, but I'll take Taysom Hill.
I don't hate that at all.
I hate
if
it.
you had taken Rodgers, I would have taken Hill.
Yeah. Well, you took Rodgers.
I did. Yeah. Because you left him for me. Frank, you're up next.
I'll take Stephon Diggs.
Okay, Diggs. Tony, get back-to-back picks here.
I'm going to go Tom Brady.
Okay.
And you took Chris Godwin. That's the guy I was
did.
going with.
I did.
Have I taken this guy? Let me see. Make sure I didn't take this guy.
Game doesn't start till 1. We're good.
I don't even know if he's playing, but I'll go. It's actually noon today, Frank.
Okay, well.
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, all right. He is expected to play. Did come off the COVID list yesterday. He was a close contact. Frank, need a quarterback.
Joe Burrow, please.
Okay. JP, need your wide receiver or tight end.
I will take Jamar Chase.
Jeff, need the same.
I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take George Kittle.
Okay. I thought about him today. Absolutely. He was on my list. And I'm going to do the Tony move here and double-check to make sure that I have not used this player. I don't believe I have. I'm going to go Cordero Patterson at running back for the Falcons. So here's what we've got. Tony will probably top his point total from last week simply with Tom Brady taking the field today. He's also got Javonte Williams and Mike Williams. Frank goes with Joe Burrow, Antonio Gibson, and Stephon Diggs. JP has Taysom Hill, Leonard Fournette, and Jamar Chase. Jeff goes Kyler Murray on Monday Night Football, Josh Jacobs, and George Kittle. And I'll roll with Aaron Rodgers, Cordero Patterson, and Chris Godwin. JP with a 56-point lead, trying to go wire to wire. As you may have heard, guys, he'll remind you of that every single week. So including this one, 4 weeks to go because we just recap it in Week 18.
Counting down.
There you go.
We're already getting the parade route ready for the championship. That's what we're doing.
That's a lot of talking from a guy who hasn't won anything yet.
That's a good point. All right, guys. Thanks. Tony and Jeff out of here. We'll hear from them in the final hour in network coverage coming up in just a little bit. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. Frank Frangie back with us from Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. Jaguars play-by-play man. The Jags haven't won there in forever, and they haven't won a lot of places in forever, but certainly in Tennessee, trying to snap all that today, and a lot of distraction and stories and articles and tweets and angry fans and players and coaches. It's December 12th. That's where we are right now, Frank.
You're right, Cheetah. That's exactly where we are. But no, you know what, JP, you're right. What a weird week, weird season. And at some point, you just have to go play, right? And I think more than anything else, this is the team that just needs to block all that out as best it can. And I mean all of it. The struggles here in Nashville, the tough season, the stuff being written in the national media. For the next 3 hours, they got to go play. And then how that affects the game, I think it's naive to suggest it won't affect it at all. I think it's got to affect it. Now, to Jeff's point earlier, does it galvanize them and help them, or does it distract them? And my belief is when stuff like that goes on, it doesn't affect when the game starts. But if you get behind it all, then I think it seeps in. So it's very important when you're dealing with distractions of that sort to play well early in the game. I really believe that.
All right, Frank, beyond how it impacts the motivational aspects, all the talk for the last really 2 weeks has been about the usage of James Robinson. Do you feel like there's a groundswell in the direction of we need to feed this guy the ball finally and treat him like the feature back we have seen him become in the past?
I'm going to guess because of all the attention it got, and you get the sense with Trevor Lawrence, I won't say leading the charge, but speaking up at least, that maybe the locker room feels that way too. So I think you're going to see more of James Robinson today, Mike, for those reasons. It's okay for a coach or a staff to say, you know what, maybe we were off the mark on that one a little bit. Let's play him a little bit more. I don't think you're acquiescing to acquiesce. I think maybe you're doing it because maybe it's the right thing to do. I also think that's how you have to play this game. The Titans are going to run the football. That's who they are, even without Derrick Henry. So they're going to run the football. So they're going to hold it for a while. The last thing you need to do is go 3 and out and have fast possessions. This is one of those games, and I've said it before, Mike, this is one of those games I'd like to see run, and on 3rd and 8 every now and then run it again. And if you have to punt, if that's a longer 3 and out than a quick 3 and out, you live with that. I think it's that kind of a game today. So I think you see the ball on the ground from both teams, and I think more of James Robinson, yes.
No, I mean, let's remember, too, even when James was 100%, he's not a home run threat. I mean, he's a 4.5-yard carry back, 5-yard carry back, which is fine. It's great. He's not going to have that explosive field-flipping play over and over again. So you got to remember what he was when he was good, and that was between the tackles, 4.5 yards a carry. Kind of temper your expectations a little bit, right?
No, that's right, JP, and I think that's okay. I'd rather have a game where 2, 4, 3 first down, well, I guess that's not a first down, that's 9. 2, 4, 4. Not a math guy, I'm a Florida guy.
The stats guy.
But the bottom line is I'd rather have a game where you hold the ball for a while. Look, he's carried it about twice as much as Carlos Hyde. So it's not like they've had even carries throughout the course of the season. People just don't want to see him pulled out of the game maybe as often as he has been. So yeah, I think, right, he's not going to break off 70 and 80-yard runs, but I do think you'll see more of him. JP, I think that's how they have to play today. Look, the passing game hasn't been very good. I'm encouraged a little bit by Laquon Treadwell, who's played better of late. He almost seems to be their go-to guy. But the one guy they had that looked like he was going to be that, Dan Arnold, is now down. They have to run the ball today. We say it every week, but I don't know that it's ever mattered more than it's going to matter today.
Certainly does against the Titans. It feels like that when they've had success up there, especially, they've run the ball effectively, won the rushing yardage battle. Frank, have a great call today in Nashville. Enjoy it.
Oh, okay, boys. Thank you.
Frank Frangie out of here, voice of the Jaguars. Up next on the Publix Tailgate Show, the Ozone steps in. Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joining us from the broadcast booth. We'll get his final thoughts ahead of Week 14, the Jags and the Titans coming up. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Shopping Publix with delivery and curbside pickup powered by Instacart makes getting your groceries more convenient than ever. It's basically the best thing since sliced bread, which you can order from the Publix bakery. You can also get fresh meats and cheeses from the deli, delicious produce, and Publix premium ice cream, all without having to leave your couch or car. Orders are available in as little as 2 hours. Prices vary from in-store. Fees, tips, and taxes may apply. Subject to terms and availability. Visit Publix.com/shop. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
This season, Make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink for football watching. Just look for 20-ounce Pepsi products in the cooler door at your local Gate convenience store and see how you could win an exclusive VIP experience at the Jacksonville Zoo and an opportunity to eat lunch with a Jaguars player. Eat with a big cat. Courtesy of Pepsi and Gate. No purchase necessary. Visit jaguars.com/zoo for official rules and details. Ends 12/31/21.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by FDOT.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Enjoy fall savings going on right now at Renewal by Anderson. Buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off, plus $50 off each window and door. There's no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Designed to withstand the harshest weather environments. Visit rbafla.com for more. This offer expires December 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CGC 1527613.
Everyone's so busy keeping up. Forget about the Joneses. We all on our telephones with the texts and the tweets and the beats. What he said, she said, can't even follow the thread. Down the hole, we all go. Me, I like keeping up too, with my Corona and my attitude. That's La Vida Más Fina.
Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate show. The Jaguars and the Titans coming up in Week 14. And time now for a visit from the Ozone.
This broadcast is ozone friendly. The Ozone.
This Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joining us from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm sure you were out and about on Broadway last night, Johnny. I could feel it.
Well, I was out very briefly, JP. My issue right now is I forgot this was an open-air press box. Didn't bring the jacket, so it's a little nippy. Yeah. It is a good day for football, a bad day for the Ozone right now.
Yeah, it's a little chilly right now, 45 degrees at Nissan Stadium, a high of 50 today. So
it's a great-looking day out there, it really is.
Yeah, nice bright sunshine today, and hopefully the sun will shine on this Jaguars organization at some point soon. Just the hits keep on coming, John. My goodness.
Well, yeah, it would be nice to have a win today to put the last couple of days, which, again, too much of that, going on. So the best way to cure it is a win. You can't look at this matchup and love it, but stranger things have happened.
Oh, yeah, certainly, John. And James Robinson had his most success this year running the football against this Tennessee team, even though they don't, on average, give a lot up to running back. So, he had been the talk, and his usage over the last 2 weeks prior to yesterday's reports coming out. Do you expect James Robinson to approach maybe his season high in touches if he's able to handle it today?
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up because, I think over the course of a season gets long and people forget. The narrative in some circles has been, they haven't used James Robinson enough. Well, at the beginning of the year, it started out that way a little bit, but as you mentioned, first Tennessee game was week 5. And in those 2 or 3 weeks, he was the reason that the offense looked like it had a little bit of identity. They weren't wrong when it looked like it was going well around him. It feels like today will be a move to get back to what it was week 4, 5, 6 going into Miami before he got hurt. So I would anticipate them trying to run him a lot. If they're way down in the second half, it's hard to do. So If he's effective, if they're effective, yeah, I think he could push 20 carries.
John Oehser with us. You like how Trevor Lawrence handled the week in front of the media?
Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, it's becoming his team more and more. He was asked a delicate question, an important question on Wednesday, and I thought he handled it about as well as you could. He didn't go overboard with it, but he said, yeah, this is the guy who should be on the field, and I think it's important. So, as a rookie, even as a quarterback, it's hard to sort of, have that walk and say, yeah, this is how it's got to be. But he's a leader. He's a spokesman. He knows it. And I don't know how you could handle things better than he has all season, including on Wednesday.
John, we know that the Titans want to be a physical team, and this is often a line of scrimmage football game. For the Jaguars, the last 2 weeks, they allowed Cordero Patterson to average 6.8 yards a carry, and then Sony Michel had 5 yards a carry last week. Tennessee's running backs don't have big names, but they've been successful. How well do you think the Jags live up to the physical challenge today?
Well, they obviously know that's a major issue. They know it's a have to. The scenario I see playing out, I think it'll be close in the first half, and then I think the second half becomes a matter of how long do you want to stay physical with this team, meaning the Titans are going to play that way till the whistle blows at the end or the gun sounds. Can the Jaguars maintain physicality? Be willing to tackle in the cold. There's been years up here, frankly, where they haven't done that. To me, that's a huge storyline because you're going to have to play physical against this team for 60 minutes to even have a chance, and that's if they keep it close. So it's a tough one, but they're all tough ones when you're playing like the Jaguars are right now.
Yeah, they're 2-10, so most weeks are tough weeks. So try to get it done today in Nashville. Hey, John, go get warm, and we'll talk to you later.
I will. That would be a priority. That's my mission. Thanks, guys.
Step by step. John Oehser, Jaguars.com senior writer, joining us from the broadcast booth in Nashville, Tennessee. And Jags trying to score some points today somehow. Haven't proven able to do that, certainly since the bye week. And, well, ever since really James Robinson's injury in Seattle. The offense has just felt a lot different since then. And then, as he referenced there, the Jags defense has struggled as of late the last few weeks against the run. That was one of the strengths of the defense, if you would. I mean, top 10 against the run a lot of the season, but the last couple of weeks they've had some holes, some blemishes there. Trying to fix that today against a Tennessee team that will run the ball no matter who's back there. And who's back there is Foreman, most notably today, and Hilliard. They split the carries 2 weeks ago for the most part. They're going to pound it right at the Jaguars today. We'll see if the Jags deep can hold up and the Jags offense can move the ball. That'll do it for the Publix Tailgate Show. Network coverage coming up with countdown to kickoff, including the final word before kickoff with head coach Urban Meyer, the Jags and the Titans in Week 14. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.